Welcome to Sri and Kira Live. As our world spins seemingly out of control, we are all experiencing time speeding up, chaos shifting to a new level, and a yearning to know the greater mysteries of the universe. What does it all mean? Visionary spiritual teachers and best-selling authors Sri Ram Kaur and Kira Ra explore these mysteries, offer live soul readings, and invite you to open up your mind, body, and spirit to the paradigms that are shifting. Bringing you fresh perspectives and timeless wisdom, here are Sri and Kira.
Namaste and welcome to the Voice of Passionate Action. I am Sri Ram Kaur.
And I am Master Lady Kira Ra, and Sri and I welcome you to the Voice of Passionate Action on what is a very passionate July 5th, 2020. We are in right now, this moment, massive show, huge up level. As we speak, we are in it right now. This massive opening, the July 5th full moon eclipse up level that is going to have an amplified second up level this week, the 11th, when Mercury opens its heart. Wow, I'm already losing my breath thinking about it. We're coming to you from the top of TOSA Blue Mountain. We're going to talk a lot more about the opening of all these crystalline portals that's been happening, the energy around. Welcome to a big show. And remember, we are culminating today's show with a live up-level experience together. I am so excited.
Absolutely.
You gotta love it.
You have arrived at your appointment right
yes,
now.
Yes, we all have. And how exciting is that? And thank you for saying yes to you and this moment at hand.
So welcome to July, because July is right here and it's thundering. It's happening. And as Kira just shared, we're in a bracket moment of the up-level energies that is occurring within a rising tide that began way back, but it got an amp in June.
Yeah, big amp.
Big amp in June. And as we shared in June, either you are riding that wave up, enjoying the vista and feeling the tingle of it all,
wow.
Or you may be feeling a bit overwhelmed and pressured by it.
Well, and
we want to talk about that.
Yeah, because that really ties in with this week. So where is everybody catching us today, Sri?
We are where we are.
We're everywhere.
That
includes with you.
That includes live video streams at Facebook, YouTube, official Sri and Kira channel, and at BBS Radio and at Oneness Talk Radio's YouTube channel.
Both of those .coms.
If you go to onenesstalkradio.com, you get a choice. You can listen to the audio or listen to the video and watch it at the homepage.
There's also chat there and over at official Sri and Kira and over at Oneness Talk Radio as well.
Lots
of chat. Chat. We love it.
So wherever you found us, thank you for joining us.
Uh-huh.
And these other sites are available for your pleasure.
And all of the affiliates, thank you for supporting the Voice of Passionate Action. I also want to share that I'm seeing both phone lines are filling up pretty quickly, and also wanted to remind you that at the BBS Radio Facebook page, we are also broadcasting as well. And so, hey, if you want to get into the queue, 2 phone numbers. You can call us at 888-627-6008. Again, that's 888-627-6008. That is our 800 number. You get to speak with our producer, Don, and he'll get you all queued up for being on the show. Remember, when you call in, you do get the blessing of being able to listen while you're on hold. Or, of course, you can be on hold over here and listening over here. That's up to you. And so also we are ready and going, and I see the call board's pretty big filling in. We're getting ready to turn that one on. 517-208-1500. Again, 510-208-1500, because as always, we welcome your comments, your questions, and of course your requests for mini soul readings with either Sri or myself. What a blessing to be with you now. And
Absolutely.
So let's just all take in a nice deep breath as we dive into the moment. And I want to just invite you, as you are really taking in that breath and calling it into you, notice your upper heart. Note, that space between the throat and the heart. Notice your breath there, because the energy that has collided into this upliftment of the veil, that is this July experience, this week, as Sri mentioned earlier, this week is like I've got you, you've got me, we've got each other, and let's do this. If ever there was a let's do this, it's this week. As far as what if even just for the moment of this show, and if you're up for it, maybe even for this whole week ahead, or just an hour or a day, whatever serves you, maybe your life. But what if everything that you have ever dreamt of, that you have ever been sure you were remembering, that you were really clear was real, but were told it wasn't? What if you actually could try on knowing that is the greater truth of who that you are? And that energy, that experience, even that is a refraction. However, it is the moment of that uplifted experience. And then by giving yourself the gift of saying yes to you, then you have the blessing of being able to be in full awareness of this co-creative dream, thereby holding your higher ascended level of consciousness, thereby having that passionate action of divine shift through the upholding of greater consciousness. When we anchor into our highest consciousness, we live in the law of instantaneous manifestation. And how we achieve that anchorship is through sincerity plus love plus presence. That's the miracle formula. It's that simple. Sincerity plus love and plus presence will always create miracles. And the ignition of the law of instantaneous manifestation is when we say yes to who we really are, because we have released the fear, anger, doubt, anxiety. Right? Now, the reason this is so important to talk about right now on this profound full moon eclipse up-level day is because more than any other week in July, and because July as a whole is carrying this energy, we've already talked about it, but more than any other week in July, this week is going to be that rich opportunity to really anchor your truth while the fear dimension is up in the ante. So what's happened is that, just to put it in a very layman's terms, love just had its bluff called. And what does that mean? It means that we have been in this moment. Should we talk about the fear dimension for a moment, Sri?
Absolutely.
All right, let's talk about the fear dimension. I want to put this up because if you don't remember this, we have been talking about this now for months. That what has happened is that this fear dimension has come forward because the planetary thought body has been growing with fear since the beginning of the Ascension escalator. Sri and I have been talking about this since the Ascension escalator began in 2015, that there was this collapse of the fourth dimension. And what has happened is that because of the collapse of the fourth dimension, the planetary thought body with so much fear energy has literally helped co-create this heartbeat. It's like a heartbeat of fear. And it is intended to be distracting. It is intended to be confusing. It is intended to be overwhelming. And it is intended to say, okay, love, those of you that have been holding on, are you really walking your walk or not? Because now what's happened is that the fear dimension, knowing that it's becoming destabilized because of the greater essence of love, has pulled out its last weapon in the hate formula. The formula for hate is very simple. It is fear plus anger. Fear plus anger equals hate. Remove any one of those variables and the whole thing destabilizes. Yeah. So in order for the planetary thought body to shift into its final moment of evolution, as far as the way that spiral would go down, which would mean what? We can only go up, right? So as it would be moving into that, we have gone from this pessimism for the future that then turned into fear that is now being salt and peppered with a lot of hefty anger to be able to get it to stop the spiral.
Yep.
And that's that anger energy.
So hate is the ultimate polarity.
Exactly.
It is the most polarizing frequency that we can muster up because it creates the target and it creates and displaces so much at that target. One of the things to remember is that we are at an revolutionary time. Evolution's been going on and will continue. The revolution, however, does not need to be a violent understanding. What it needs to be appreciated for is its capacity to let go of what was and embrace what is soon to be.
And to joyfully jump into that. Consider that what you just said, this is the essence of the fear, anger energy, right? It's no, I refuse to change. I will not see a future that is different than the past. I like this cycle. And this is important to witness because this is part of the creation. And this is why what you're saying is so important.
Thank you. It's really important for each and every one of us to kind of take a look at ourselves and what is being mirrored in the outer world.
Right.
Because the level at which you engage the outer world affects the perspective mirrored back to you. So let's just recap this for a moment because it's very important material. It's deceptively simple. Where there is fear, there is a collapse or a disconnect from your authentic truth. Okay, fear is a belief in the separation, a belief in the disempowerment, and fear invites in that classic paradigm of the third dimension called the victim triangle.
Well, and I just got to say, Sri, that even as you're talking about that, notice your breath again. Remember at the beginning of the show, I was saying, come up here, right? We were all experiencing, feel your breath right here. As you started sharing, I'm noticing the collective breath also holding here. So what that's saying is that this is why this week in July is so important, is so invaluable, right? That dream that is wanting to anchor hate energy is going to use the anger bullet this week. And it will do everything in its power to get those that are not committed into that steadfast commitment of the higher love energy. It will use anger to pull you out. And this is really important to keep underscoring.
Well, and to take a look at how you're responding. It's one thing to see things in others. It's another thing to see ourselves.
And I think before we show them the victim triangle, let's show them the week. And so let's look at this week and then let's talk about the victim triangle because this is so important to understand. And so let's go to the July calendar. There it is. And so as we are in the July moment right now, again, we ignited this open chalice of the divine feminine on June 21st, and this is literally carrying us into the 8/8 Lionsgate energy. Today, if you look at the calendar, is the full moon uplevel eclipse moment. This is massive. We're all going to go there together. Near the end of the show today, we are going to culminate with this journey. But look at the week ahead. Mercury is already flexing her muscle. Mercury is turning. Remember, it felt like a feminine Mercury and her back was turned with that portal to the fifth dimension. Well, on the 7th, that is going to be the first. There's 4 more dates in this month that are really important, and it's 7, 14, 21, 28. The first hit, it's like a propulsion, is going to be on the 7th. And that's going to be because Mercury we will start seeing her face again. And so on the 11th, we have the second uplevel in the same month, in the same week, as Mercury will then fully reveal her heart. So during this week, this is that moment where your past lives are paying attention to you.
Oh, that's another topic.
Anything that's unresolved, this is why the victim triangle. Anything that's unresolved within you will come up. And so how will you handle it this week? It's going to be one of those in-your-face weeks being held open by the universe saying, look, if you're going to have a week where it's all going to be in your face, then why not let joy, the law of instantaneous manifestation, incredible co-creation, serendipity, new connections, why not let it be a week of that? Mm-hmm. Why not try that on as being in your face? Or that's going to be the sincerity, love, presence experience. Or you're going to try on a lot of fear plus anger because that planetary thought body is actually trying to condense into hate. And so it's a very powerful love-hate moment.
Absolutely. And part of the thing to remember is that the only way to unravel that which has found its form. Now, let me underscore this. Any energy set in motion seeks to preserve itself. So The fear dimension exists because it is the repository of all of these emissions that have come out of the human contributors, and they coagulate because the like will attract the like in there, and they become self-preserving energies. So this is why the fear dimension is kind of the gateway to the astral, so to speak. The astral, the fourth dimension, has always been around as a repository of unfinished business, mostly around unfinished people, entities that are earthbound and refuse to move on. But
because they like your ego.
It's very much
food.
Food dimension, food preying upon human energy. But the fear dimension is something we co-created. And so remember that the only way to resolve this fear plus anger equals hatred is to bring a dose of deep unconditional acceptance and love to any participant in that loop that is willing to be with you. Now, this doesn't mean having an argument. What it means is that understanding the nature of anger. Anger is an emotion that says, you violated my boundaries. You didn't meet my expectations. You hurt me. That's what anger is. It arises when we feel like we've been violated or hurt.
And think about the projection energy. Think about everything Sri just said is a projection, isn't it? Isn't that fascinating? It's a 100% projection energy. I mean, it's just so fascinating.
And it's a natural thing that comes out of that victim energy, because when you feel like you've been victimized, we're looking for the perpetrator. And now we can start dumping a lot on the perpetrator, and the anger gives us a sense of power. I feel stronger when I'm angry. It may be short-lived, it may be misguided, but it's a sensation. And so it's a delicate thing to unravel. But one thing I do know is that all things are healed through acceptance and love. This doesn't mean we accept the behavior of the angry person.
Or that there are not consequences.
Exactly.
That is not what we're saying.
No, there are consequences, and the behavior in many cases is not acceptable. However, the being that is a little confused and wound up needs a dose of acceptance, presence, just beaming presence, so that they can find their way. And this is what friendships are for. This is what some forums on the internet are for, and spiritual communities such as this community that gathers here, is we're here to love and respect each other, to provide a safe place where we can sort through that which needs to be sorted through. And it isn't about emotional growth, although sometimes that's there. It's about the necessary environment to support our creative expression, to support our being, not our misguidedness.
I want to jump in and just share that. As you're sharing that, I was feeling all of you, the community that has been growing at wwaglobal.com. Write that down, wwaglobal.com. Get over there. Jump in. This Chalice opening on June 21st through August 8th, certainly no accident there. When we looked at the dates for the opening of WWA, we did not know this was coming. And so very fascinating serendipity. And for all of you that have said, yes, I'm going to take this journey together, we are all going to dive into this in August, remember that you get instant access to the live forum where everything you just talked about is happening.
Yes.
And so I just wanted to give a big shout out and also to invite all of you that have awake men in your life, or to all awake men out there. Remember that Sri Ramka is part of this program. There is an assumption that just because the word women is in the name, this is just for women. Women Wellness Awakenings is about women, absolutely. It is also about the woman within all. This program is coming out at this time because the divine feminine balance is going to be the most important harmonic we can bring onto the planet right now. Sure. And women are still finding themselves either very disempowered and very weak, or overly emasculated and thereby not in balance with themselves. And this is a moment where we are coming together. And the tri-shul that is opening up this one is just Juntanen, my beloved husband, and myself. And what we know is that WWA Global is part of this moment, that there are more champions within all of us. And we look forward to championing you and bringing you in as champions with wwaglobal.com. So please help us help people find that. And let's know that we can move forward with that, because this victim consciousness that's happening right now, let's put up the spiral.
Sure.
So this is what we're going to show you. We want to show you the link between the victim consciousness, the fear energy, and this week, and why you need to look at how this all comes together. So indulge us this 5 minutes to put this together. So it all begins with this. It all begins with, where is it? Oh, my beautiful husband put this up here. I don't know. There it is. We found it. There it is. All right. It all begins with this. Now, the first thing that we want you to pay attention to is the spiral, right? We are all always in the spiral. We are constantly moving. Any of these can shift to any direction and overlap together at the same time. Let go of looking at this as a linear model and feel it. And I know a lot of you are. And if you feel it and you actually feel nauseous, then pay attention to the chakra that's calling to you. If you feel this and you feel elated, pay attention to the chakra that's calling to you. Pay attention to the chakra that's calling to you as you connect with this right now. Are you gazing down into the spiral, or are you gazing up into the spiral? Where are you here? Because it's not about your mind engaging this, as Sri Ramka just shared. It's about lifting up. When we own the compassion of self, when we love ourself enough to have enough compassion to anchor in the fifth dimension, this can no longer exist.
And the this that Kira is pointing to is the phrase victim, rescuer, abuser, because victim, rescuer, abuser is one energy with three faces. It's a matter of how the perspective that your gaze will land on. It's about the behavior or the energy you summon to engage the world. So victim, rescuer, abuser is one energy, and we take turns fulfilling those roles.
Yes.
And what's beautiful, when I for many years, I would sit as a counselor, as a psychotherapist, helping people make friends with their emotions so that they could move through a stuckness, the Velcro moments.
Right.
What I didn't have when I first began that journey as a therapist was the understanding that there is an evolution that happens that is beyond the simple implementation of better coping. You know the phrase, he or she is a high-functioning
so-and-so, whatever.
Something or other.
They're a high-functioning, insert judgment.
The role of the therapist back when was to help you become a higher functioning something or other, meaning to cope with life. The role of a spiritual mentor is to help you evolve into the truth of who you are. And sometimes the stepping stones along the way are a little sticky. Sometimes they're a little messy. Okay, that's part of the fun, because it is fun to discover where we left our energy.
Exactly.
If we deposited energy into the victim role and then we pretend we never did it, that energy's still sitting there waiting to be triggered. And there's plenty of things out in the world that will trigger your inner victim.
Especially right now, especially when the fear paradigm knows that in order to self-preserve, it's got to get a heaping helping of anger.
And so the evolutionary opportunity that we are sharing with you is that we can move into a healer, teacher, mentor
Let's
role.
put the graphic back up, because this is the gift. Remember, we're all born into the third dimension. We all go through this. No one's immune. But here's the gift. When we awaken from the victim, we transform. You are the butterfly that comes out of the cocoon to be the teacher. And when we realize that rescuing people will never heal our life, that the only person there would ever be to rescue could be ourselves, and perhaps we can heal that, then we are the healer that has healed thyself, and we become the true healer. And when the abuser stops abusing themselves, because within the voice of every abuser is absolutely the self-abuser.
Yes.
All abuse begins with self-abuse. And so when we can love ourselves enough to say yes to who we are, then our mentor self emerges. And again, all of these cycle together. And so this very week is very much about that. And I want to talk about, Shri, we talked about back in March, Shri and I started talking about, and there was even an ensoulment that came in that talked about the stages of grief. Yeah. And as we're talking about all of this victim energy, because you know the energies that hold that in, right? You're all seeing it, right? Everyone goes through it. If you believe that's not in your life, you're in denial. So look at where it is, and then look at where you can transcend it, right? And how to love it, because victim consciousness brings us to the ultimate: forgive them, they know not what they do. Love them, they know not what they do, and bring that to you.
The moment you're able to say that, to declare, I forgive you, you did the best you knew how given your state of consciousness.
That's the caveat. That's what you need to know to relax into it.
In the old vernacular is forgive them, they know not what they do. What's really being said is within their state of consciousness, they can't recognize the error.
Which is what they know not what they do, because they do not know.
They simply don't.
Right? Those of you that are taking Monday Magic with us, and if you're not, why not? Join us. We've been teaching the power of that word, and when it's used, they know not what they do.
Now, when you are able, maybe you can practice this right now if you want. Just bring your hand to your heart, take a breath, and center in your heart. Breathing into my own heart center, I relax all my judgments, all my worries. For this one moment, I'm at peace. Yes. Right now. Yes. And as I look out into the world, whatever my consciousness gaze lands upon that is hurtful or disappointing in the outer world, try this out. I forgive you. You're doing the best you know how, given your state of consciousness. I forgive you and I release you now. And as you practice the declaration, I forgive you and I release you, when you can say that and be at peace without having a yeah, but come up in your mind, you're anchored in the fifth dimensional energy. It's that easy. Yes. The fifth dimensional energy is at peace with the world. This does not mean you do not choose to serve and assist, and that you might have passion for helping in a variety of ways, because there's a lot of fences that need painting. There's a lot of fences needing repairing. There's a lot of work to do in the world if that is your calling. But to do it from that place of acceptance, that place of wonderful love that is not agitated by the anger or the judgment that it should have been different.
Yeah, the shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Then you're holding that beautiful zone. That age of Aquarius is within you.
Absolutely. And this is why we wanted to remind you about the stages of grief. We, in March, started talking about how everything was going to come together, and with all the predictions we gave and how it came in, that it was very clear that the stages of grief were being reflected according to the level of consciousness that was reflecting them. And that we have been very slowly, globally moving through these stages. And now what's starting to happen on the planet is that we were unified. There was a unified co-creation at one moment when this began, and Shri will remind us of all of this in a moment, and everyone was in the same stage. However, in that moment, and we talked about this during the times of the retreat, have you been in retreat? Have you been really claiming and reclaiming and getting ready to come out of that retreat? And who is emerging? And we're in those moments. But what's happening is that now the discord of the fear energy with this anger put on it has already ignited that thin little hate layer. That's why we can see it. That's why it's becoming ever more visible. And remember, everything's up-leveling today. The energy's neutral. Everything's up-leveling. And so as we are seeing this energy come forward right now, forgive us, I guess we must have lost our connection with our producer.
Okay, well, it's back.
Okay, sorry about that. My apologies, that completely distracted me, guys. Shri, it was really important what I was talking about, and I bet you don't remember either.
I just got distracted. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sorry, guys. Oh, the stages of grief.
Yeah.
That the planet is moving through different stages now. So what that means is that when we were all unified going through the stages of grief, now we're not. So now you're going to have multiple further separations, which are looking like the lines that would divide up the planet into countries. All right. So what you're going to see is that in a very third dimensional level, countries are going to be at different evolutionary stages of their levels of grief, and thereby you're going to start seeing these stages come together in ways that will either be met with sincerity, love, and presence to make incredible miracles, or there's going to be an even greater enhancement of the fear because the anger will be injected and thereby anchor this hate strata. So this is what's so important to understand, and I want you to just breathe that in. And so you are at a moment where looking at your own stages of grief with integrity is also going to be important, because the veil is lifting, and we're getting ready to take you on a journey in the next half hour of this show to all of the crystalline light portals that have been opening. We have documentation. We have a film Shri and I made. We're going to be showing you. There is so much happening. And to really embrace it, it really is about saying yes to your fifth dimensional presence. So we want to just offer you once again a quick reminder on the stages of grief, because we haven't gotten that far as a globe.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
I have something to say there. I'm just trying to salvage our call board. Give me a moment.
Forgive me. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that my husband was still working. So let me start then, Shri. Whenever a stage of grief is initiated, it always begins with shock. Right? It's shock and denial. And that was how the COVID experience came in. It came in around the planet there was a knowing, there was an inkling, and then there was that moment of shock and denial. And when that moment happened, when that shock and denial came forward, in that moment, it was as if the entire planet took in a breath and felt us. And remember, our beloved Mother Gaia is tired. We have been invited to not send cords into the earth since 2004. And so she's tired, and she got up out of bed and said, you know what? I know you need me. However, she couldn't hold that forever. And so as these up levels have been happening, as the out breath has come forward, there has been a breath of energy that is either going to be received and uplifted or repelled, because when you're in the dark, the light is painful. And that's not a judgment, it's just what is. So Shri, we've been in that shock and denial, and that manifested a lot of things.
Well, and here's the thing. This is not as simple as one model, yet one model will help you unpack
Like
it.
if you want to go look at the model of grief online, there's a lot of different ones.
We all, and I think most everybody, got hit with the shock and denial when the COVID-19 first entered our personal lives. It was more than just out there something happening in another country, and that the loss of freedoms, the loss of movement, etc. So the shock that happens, that triggers the grief cycle, then is immediately met with some denial.
Yep.
And you saw that in some governments say, oh no, this is not going to be the
And individuals. Remember, this is broad spectrum.
So the denial is a way of kind of keeping a handle on things. I don't want to have to change. It's really underneath the denial.
Why is the little me being inconvenienced? Remember, density consciousness. Remember, this came in at density consciousness, which is why some of your greatest immunity is your level of consciousness.
Yeah, absolutely. The higher your level of consciousness, the less you will be affected by the worldly bugs.
Yeah.
And as Kara was sharing, that the degree to which you participate in the cycles of grief reflects the level of consciousness with which you look through. That is to say, when you look out at the world or you review yourself, and if you are feeling triggered, if you are feeling upset, you're coming at the situation from a more traditional emotional orientation, and your cycle through to resolution will probably follow the predictable paths. When we're able to really lift up into our heart, as we just practiced with the declaration of forgiveness, and if we're able to sustain that fifth dimensional energy, let alone higher, we are able to process through the worldly shocks much quicker. Not deny them, but to see them for what they are. When we can see something for what it is, it loses its power over and simply becomes an experience.
And I have to jump in because what a cue up. That's this week. We are in what? An experience month. And this week, right now, we are in an up level. And it's going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until Saturday the 11th, when Shri and I and our Cosmic Origins group, welcome our first group back, will be in Chobshi. And we're going to talk more about that in just a moment. But this is a week where you have an opportunity to have an incredible life of really saying, okay, what if I try on who I really am? You know,
Yes.
We went into retreat March 13th. It was March 13th when Ecuador shut down. We had clients, literally some of them coming in a few days, that were on planes.
One at the airport.
One at the airport when that happened. And so we were in retreat until now, right? And from then until probably a few days from now. And for us, the retreat, as you all know, has led to Monday Magic, has led to our community getting even more together, has led to profound revelations and expansions. So many of you writing, so many of you finding each other. WWA Global was born. So much has come forward during this time. And so it is your past life energy that is really going to call you this week. And this is why I think it's so important that we go back and talk about clearing out this energy and your victim energy, because oftentimes, and if you were with us yesterday in the Mastery Mentorship Gathering, we went on a time travel to do this, but oftentimes we carry past life energy with us because we like it, because we're attached to it, and it actually will limit our ability to anchor beyond this world.
So I really want to emphasize something.
Thank you.
We carry past life energy because we're choosing to accept it at some level,
Right.
not resolve it. We carry victim energy because we identify with it at some level. We haven't ascended through it. It's a
Right.
similar thing. So consider for a moment the residue that's in your total auric field, your total resource kit of who you are. You've got the past life influences. You've got the worldly training that taught you how to be a victim and to be a good little girl or a good little boy.
So
and
you
all
know,
that stuff.
so let's show them, because remember that next stage on that grief experience is what? Anger.
Is anger.
And that's where the world is at right now. Globally, we are at anger. However, we do have individual countries that have moved beyond and others that are just beginning.
And these experiences are your trampolines to transcendence.
Exactly.
Every time you find yourself in a victim energy, every time you find yourself in anger or what comes
Well,
after.
frustration. Let's talk about frustration.
Okay, we're going to do that. One sec.
Okay.
Let me just finish here. So every time you find yourself having those coarser emotional experiences, that's the time to go, oh, I get it. Take a breath and go, the density is pulling me into the polarity dynamic. Am I complete with this now?
And one way to find out is notice, are you feeling any energy around or frustration? And frustration can be part of anger, it can be part of doubt, it can be part of guilt, but anything that leads to that. And let's show you why. Because frustration energy is the energy that is the buffet of the planetary thought body of fear. It's built on frustration. It wants you confused. It wants you to have, what's one of those arrows saying? A lack of belief, especially for yourself, right?
A frustration is an essential disconnect from your flow, from your trust, from your divine creative nature. When we are frustrated, we're believing that something outside of ourselves has let us down, is not coming forward as it shoulda, woulda, coulda.
And you see the way that frustration repels, it does not attract. So when we are frustrated, we literally repel bounty by saying, I am available for poverty consciousness. When we are frustrated, I am available for depression. I am available for addiction. When we are frustrated, I am hopeless. When we are frustrated, I have a lack of belief. Nothing is real or everything. Do you see what happens here? And the reason we're sharing this with you is because it's a very simple formula. And it was in our book, 2012, You Have a Choice. It was again in 2012, Atlantean Revelations. Sincerity attracts, and is also what? The cornerstone, the foundation of miracles. Sincerity attracts, frustration repels. And so this week is very much about the sincerity, frustration, ascension process, which if you look at this ascension stairwell here, right? Frustration is separation, and it births fear. This is why the fear dimension is here.
Well, and when we feel like we're separated from our good, from our inheritance, when we're separated from our divine flow, fear is the natural result. And it's birthing from a refracted belief, the belief in the separation.
Right.
However, when we begin to relax out of that, and this is one of those hand-on-heart moments, when we begin to breathe into what's really my essence, who am I at my essence, we find our sincerity.
And when we find our sincerity, then our intention shifts from I want a brand new car to show me my true life. Show me who I really am. Let me be me. And that's where you see that little steadfast commitment, because until you can be aware of your own sincere intention, the steadfast commitment cannot begin. These two are literally twins. And once we get really clear, we have that steadfast commitment, we are sincere in our intention, then our life begins to align with our consciousness through our sincere practice. This is when we aren't doing something just because we think we're supposed to do it. I'm not going to church on Sunday because I'm supposed to do it, and if I don't, I'm going to go to hell, and blah, 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 blah. No, this is when that moment of divine, even if it's something as simple as hand to heart, that 1 second in the true temple is a sincere practice. And through that brings you into that focused awareness where sincere dedication births.
And dedication is willingness in action. When we are willing to follow through on our spiritual understandings, and we do our practice, dedication is the natural 0 point energy that keeps it going. Sincere dedication means I will focus my awareness on that which I know is true.
And that's the difference between dedication and sincere dedication. Sincere dedication is a moment of surrender. And then, of course, it brings us to that ultimate sincere recognition, complete trust. And I want you to look at the top of this graphic for a moment. Divine recognition births sincerity. Then I want you to go to the bottom of the graphic where it says frustration births fear. Here's the gift. Many times when we are sincerely frustrated, we can actually pop into that moment of divine recognition, but we're unable to hold it open. How many do you know that have actually seen it and can't live it, can't hold it open? That's because of the rest of those steps. This week is those steps. And the more that you say yes to you, the more that you say yes to the incredible things that are happening on our planet, the more amazing it's going to be. Because we are at the time of unification. And Shri and I want to show this, that this is, a lot of you have asked us questions about this, and this diagram was actually given to us by Archangel Zadkiel, and it is in our book, 2012 Atlantean Revelations. But the divine consciousness can only expand. Even density is expansion. It's basically a loop.
Mm-hmm. So in the journey of consciousness, and as Zadkiel refers to us, Archangel Zadkiel refers to us as the travelers, that we have been traveling into ever denser forms of experience. And when you look at the numbers at the top, that's on the reunion side, but it applies to the expansion side too, is that from the 33rd dimension, we have gone through ever densifying layers into the 15th, the 7th, the 5th, and the 3rd. And the 3rd density is as dense as we can go.
Literally, this is the dense of the dense. So celebrate how much of a master you are. This is really an amazing moment.
And so this is an expansion. Some people refer to this as an expansion of spirit into form, which is fine. But what's happening now in the 3rd density is a rehash of the same energy. That's because there is infinite creativity. So we're not becoming denser, those who are participating in the density. They're just creating more density experiences. That is, how creative can we get to do the same energy over and over and over?
And here's what's so exciting is that right now, that top portion there that has the dimensions are folding into themselves, we opened that chalice of reunification June 21. We are in a moment of literal instantaneous manifestation. I mean, how cool is that? And so, again, as we had shared, you are that chalice. It is your, imagine your angel wings open, right? This is the upper chalice, and the eyes are on the divine. And we anchored in that June experience, the 19th, 20th, and 21st, the 33rd dimension anchored in the chalice, giving us this incredible opportunity to, as the divine directors have shared, receive, uplift. And the veils are lifting, and we are in this moment for the whole month. And the stem of the chalice is our physical form, offering us this moment of anchorship. And saying yes, yes, yes. The law of instantaneous manifestation. And what is the catch? In a moment where everything will do its best to pull you into that third dimensional loop, if you are giving yourself the gift of being in the fifth dimensional loop, that's the only catch. And to perhaps just try it on, even if it's just an hour at a time.
One of the things that I'm sure you can agree with is it's a lot easier to swim with the current.
Yes.
Than to try to beat your way upstream. The current, the cosmic current right now is carrying us to reunion.
Yay!
And as that graphic we had up showed the expansion into density and then kind of the holding pattern.
Right.
And then the return to oneness.
Well, let's talk about portal thinking while you're talking about this, because that's the final thing to pay attention to, is that right now it's about getting outside of your linear mind.
And so the linear mind keeps thinking that, our future is going to be an extension of the past. The quantum mind realizes that all time exists at once. So as we look at this graphic, on the left side, you have that linear traditional way of looking at things, past, present, future.
And I got to giggle. Do you remember years ago they used to show, it was a children's game where they had a big loop and a stick, and somebody would keep beating with their stick the loop, and it would turn. And if you look at this on this line, look at how if you look at life this way, the present just becomes a cycle of the same old thing over and over again.
Yeah. There's a revolving
It's like
energy.
It just feels like that hamster wheel in the middle.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's a good insight. And so we're all very familiar with linear time. Because,
and hamster wheels.
Because that's what Newtonian science is built upon.
Exactly.
And that's what we were taught. And so it's just a language. It's a belief system. Whereas we look at the drawing on the right is just intended to trigger you into the recognition of, to experience oneness, we need to kind of take this past, present, future timeline and wrap it around ourselves like a hula hoop, because we're in the center of it all. Past, present, and future is not a sequential thing.
No.
It is an experience of consciousness. And when we move our locus of consciousness out of the linear and into the holographic center, we begin to recognize that all is here.
Yeah, it really is. And just for a really quick reminder, this is another reason why you want to let go of that linear thinking. Yeah. That we are in a moment right now where the eye is wide open, the illumination is here, and that the timelines are literally folding. And so if you try to stay in linear time, you're gonna find it to be very challenging. And what we're saying is, it's not about not saying I have an 8 o'clock or I have a 9 o'clock. It's really about flowing into that and then really noticing even more. And that brings us to, I think, really one of the more, for me, what has been such a profound moment. So on July 1 last week, since we were last with you all, and you will remember that last Sunday, we discussed how the week July 1 through July 4 was very much about the awareness experience. The first few days, which was the end of June, was about this awareness coming forward, and that as we moved into the experience of July, where all of these veils are coming off, the middle day last week, July 1, was actually the peak of that moment where that awareness experience was coming forward. And a couple things happened on that day. One of them was that I was called to take a dear, beautiful friend of mine on a vision, and it happened to have been up at our top of our mountain. And I had never been there. I had never been there before. And as my beloved husband and I were having lunch, he said, look at how beautiful it is out. Why don't we climb up? And this is something we have been wanting to do for a while. And in the shadow of Chobshi, which was last week. And remember, last week was that middle strata of all these up-level moments, right? And so in the middle of that, and the energy of Chobshi and us getting ready to go back to Chobshi with our group and everything that was happening, it was just such a beautiful gift for you to say, let's go do that. In the moment of all these temples of the gods being revealed and all this new crystalline energy being revealed really for the first time.
Yeah.
And we're looking at the timing too.
Well, and we had some personal revelations about TOSA Blue Mountain and where our attention has been focused and that we were being invited to lift. To go up the mountain is a wonderful metaphor for the spiritual journey, isn't it?
And here it's quite literal. I mean, we actually felt, I was sharing with the Miracle Team yesterday for the first time, and Sri and I have hence had a lot of conversation and even more insights coming about it, that when we moved here from Uruguay, in Uruguay, we were complete with the anchoring of the crystalline light portal. It had been completely closed. Uruguay, remember, had completely decimated their indigenous population. We were blessed to live on a property where there were actually probably the only ruins in the country left. We activated lots of light portals, and that got anchored. And when we came here to Ecuador, we were clear that this was going to be our permanent place. And even we didn't know the extent of what was coming forward. But when we bought this property, it was literally in ruins. I mean, it was barely habitable.
Disrepair and covered over, lots of trash and all of the things that are signals of neglect.
Serious. And it had probably been really neglected. Even all the trees, all the fruit-bearing trees. Now, I mean, we have so much food, we're giving it away. But everything was dying. And the minute I hugged this house, because our house is very beautiful, it's made of mud and bamboo and straw and all that, no nails, no nothing. But the minute I hugged the home, it immediately showed me what it is now. And Sri Ramka had the exact same experience. We had many other mystical things happen here. And so for 2 full years, we worked on restoring the property. And that wasn't just the physical structures. It was also about making it a true sanctuary, because we are one of the few properties left that is holding all the indigenous plants. We're not pulling out. When you come here, you're really seeing the Andes Mountains, and it's getting harder and harder to see this, the real thing. So that was 2 full years of love and care. Yeah. And we have noticed and witnessed miracle after miracle, heightened energy after heightened energy. And really, I don't think you and I were aware that there was this much more until July 1st.
And, there's so many wonderful metaphors for life, because oftentimes there are areas of our life that need our attention. And those areas might be the themes associated with the lower chakras.
Right.
The emotional themes, the safety themes, the survival themes, and all of those that we evolve through. Our relationship with. We always are going to have human needs, but our relationship with the needs is what evolves, and how we manifest and where we place our trust. And so, as Kira was sharing, we've spent a lot of time taking care of the foundation of TOSA Blue Mountain.
Root chakra.
And creating this place as a true sanctuary, which is holding its creative nature as a visioning center, as a place of peace, love, and joy.
You can come pick your dinner, literally.
And what happened for us when we walked up the hill and we crossed, there's a little river, a little stream.
Talk about, I call it the moat. I'm now calling it the moat.
The way this land evolved is that the river from the Andes uphill from us is split. There's a downstream,
the Amazon,
and then there is a thinner little stream that has supported the irrigation needs of the farmers, because this is an agricultural valley for many, many years. And so there was a natural stream. It was very small, and over the years they enforced its flow. So we have to cross the upper division of the stream to go up the hill.
And I want to share something. This moat, because it really, boy, did I learn it was a moat. This was like walking into Middle Earth, guys. This moat is very much a energy flow, a beautiful energy flow. And they're really, the minute I crossed, and it crosses our entire property at the center. Right? I mean, it's just too profound.
Well, yeah, and this is why we're having fun with the models and
and what we experienced.
Yeah, for sure. And the center in the chakra system, the traditional side is the heart, is it not? And so this flow of nourishment,
constant
energy,
flow
for us, it was very much like going into the upper chakras. Once we cross that foundation and we're walking up the hill, we begin. The air gets thinner.
You'll hear him breathing on the videos.
There's a little of that going on,
because we were up there.
But there's also this expansion.
Mm-hmm.
The earth and the creations of the earth are supporting a connection that is uplifted beyond the normal connection. Quote, normal is a word that we ought to throw it out. Because normal,
limiting, judgmental, defining.
Normal is just wherever you feel good.
Right?
That's normal. Wherever you feel at peace and happy. So why don't we just use the phrase, I'm at peace. I'm at happy, rather than I'm conforming to a norm. Anyway, sidetrack. So as we went up the hill, I know that my experience was one of not just feeling my feet on the earth, but feeling the lightness of my feet on the earth.
Oh my gosh.
Walking with the earth, which then moved into a sense of feeling embraced by an energy that was beyond the kind of the tactile. When we go out in nature, oftentimes it's good. We like to touch a rock and touch the earth and touch a leaf, and there's a reconnection to the natural world. As we climb the path, what I found is we were lifting up, and that for myself, the level of connection moved up into ever refined appreciation of the beauty and being touched by beauty. So what I'm trying to communicate is, what is the embrace of beauty? What is that like for you? What is the embrace of spirit like? Because that is the experience that awaits as you climb this hill.
Well, and in this moment specifically, so it was July 1 when Shri and I were called to go up, and we were called to really look. And on that day, I will share that after the ensoulment that came through at Chobshi, we have had many, many more come through, and a lot more talking about how the cosmic openings are defining, and to be prepared for the August connections, and that there are cosmic defining moments that are going to be coming in July. You're going to see a lot more increased activity with cosmic connections through all the dimensions. And the messages that came through up here were happening at every dimensional level. Shri and I were at one point, we had just finished a deep connection. I sat down, and the minute I looked up, 3 condors came in. We actually got it in real time. Then we found what is like a garden of petroglyphs. We knew there were some there, but we found so many more. And this huge, you're going to see it. Shri got it. We got the pictures, video. Huge silver dragonfly. I kid you not, wingspan. Yeah, this is how big my eyes are. Probably one of the biggest ones I've ever seen. You're going to see it.
Its camouflage was so good as I was trying to bring the camera and I lost it. I was
just for a second, but you'll see it. He's got it in there very clearly. And so the reason this is so important for all of us to celebrate right now is that we know by living here, when TOSA Blue Mountain started revealing itself, she's now revealing her exploded crown chakra. Shri and I, like I said, for 3 years, I have never been up here because I had the knee surgeries and all the other inabilities. And now I almost ran up here. It's one of the easiest trails I've ever taken. And we went all the way to the top, which you'll see. We discovered even more. And so in this moment of discovery and this crystalline energy, and as we are preparing to go into this profound up-level culmination in the next hour of the show, we're also going to be taking all of your questions and questions and mini soul reading requests. We want to offer you a video. And this video is 100% put together to assist you to really be on the mountain. And we're excited to share it with you. And just relax, and we'll see you when it's done. Enjoy.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, taking a breath.
Hey everybody, this is Bria Rose, and right now Aparna and I are walking at the very beginning of the trail that goes all the way up the mountain here at TOSA. And in just a few moments, Shri and Kira will be sharing a video of them from this last week, walking this trail and revealing some of the hidden treasures right here at TOSA Blue Mountain. You may remember from last week's show An ensoulment that came through Master Lady Kira while some of us were at Chobshi, an ancient and ancestral home of the Kenyari people here in Ecuador. And in that ensoulment, part of what was shared was this energy of the unveiling of the divine illumination that has been in stasis. And now, this week, right here at TOSA Blue Mountain, there has certainly been an unveiling of the divine illumination that had been in stasis. Shri and Kira have lived here for nearly 3 years, and in this video, you will see them sharing some of what has been unveiled and revealed for the first time just this last week that had not been present prior to the activation that happened at Chobshi.
As you connect through the heart of oneness within with those cosmic origins and feel the love of this temple of oneness connecting with that and igniting that temple that is within at all times and always.
Go climbing the hill.
Hola! Welcome! We are on our way up to our 2,500-year-old archaeological site. It is a gorgeous, breathtaking day here at TOSA Blue Mountain. Come on, join us.
Come on, Henry, show us the way.
We're already at the entrance. You'll notice all of these stones, and maybe on the way down, Shri and I will also show you some of the stuff that we realize needs to be archaeologically excavated, that the site is much bigger than we all thought. So you'll start feeling this energy. Look at the pines, Shri, let's grab that. Beautiful, we have pines, look at this. And it is just a spectacular July 1.
As we climb the hill to go to the ancient encampment, we turn and see the river. And in Ecuador, they like to use greenhouses to grow roses and tomatoes because the climate is perfect for that. As we hiked the beautiful mountain to come to a major encampment, this encampment was quite old. You see this wall? The stones are deliberately placed, and they use some natural sand and mud mortar to help keep things in place. And as we walk here, you realize here's the corner of the house, and that they incorporated the huge rock in the back as a shelter. What a wonderful place. As we turn to take in the vista, we imagine what kind of life these settlers would have enjoyed, being so connected to the energy of the mountain and the energy of the natural spirit world, the Apu.
So this is an interior manifestation area, And I'm hearing that this is very similar to the crystalline energy field that is over at Chobshi. And that is why it took 3 years for me to come up here. That the two had to open together. That this is like an instantaneous portal of connection. And that we are to hold ceremony here often. This area has been quietly waking up, but awaiting. Right here, you'll notice, here it is, this is very much a lizard head. And if you think about the ancient Kanyari, if we come over here, Sri, you can see that this was this area right here. As you entered into this structure, you'll notice also the curve. Out there we have a fire ring, and and we're going to talk about that stone again down there. Many of the energies here, this was a temple, and it is absolutely older than the 2500. These walls are younger than the rest of the big block sites, most of the monoliths that have been coupled. And when you're up here, the energy is beyond tangible. And this is the blessing of TOSA Blue Mountain. Sri, let's also show them the incredible panorama here.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Cactus, it is birthing.
Watch Apala, the pink steeple. Even landed. Oh, honey, right there. Hi, we love you. Thank you. Thank you for the blessing of you. Thank you for picking this moment. I knew there was something special about this rock, and then this beautiful gateway dragonfly flew to us. Sri, I've never seen one like that down by a lower elevation. Have you?
He blends in.
He's so beautiful. And when he first flew in, he was silver. It's like he changes with the sun. And oh my goodness, Sri, look what I am seeing to our left. The way that this stone was indented and trimmed and was most likely used for pulverizing, most likely spices or some type of grains, most likely for ceremony, because it's a big piece and it's at the end of what I'm seeing here is quite a bit of other, you'll notice right over here by the cactus, there's a lot of other stones. So this very much could have been the head of another snake. The Kanyari had, it was the snake and the macaw, the giant parrot, are their two largest totems. And just like we showed you down earlier, this very much was designed for holding. It is a vessel, and so it's worthy of our appreciation. We've now climbed all the way up to what we're knowing and feeling is a land of fairies, and wanting you to feel this energy as we are continuing up. Lots and lots of beautiful, look over here. Look what's hiding. Everywhere you look, there is something hiding. You see the intentional cutting of the stone and the way that the trees have overtaken the archaeological site. That's the gift of this site. All of the energy is here. And we are now heading up. There's my beloved.
Yeah, we're up in the grove of pine trees coming up.
So this is that grove he was just mentioning, and we'll see you at the top. Welcome to the top of the mountain, Sri Ramka. Quite extraordinary up here, way up on our boundary.
The sun is getting ready to set behind this mountain.
Yeah.
Ancient mountain. Many, many stories here.
So we hope you enjoy this video of Sri and Kira showing all of the secrets and revelations that have come forward here on this land. And we just invite you to explore, the spaces that are in your backyard, literally, or your neighborhood, and just witness and be present to what is ready to be revealed that maybe wasn't there before.
Ooh, and take in a breath. Let's bring our hands to our heart. Wow. Welcome back. Welcome to Sri and Kira Live, the voice of passionate action. Our second hour, which we like to call our community hour, because we get to spend even more time with you, our beloved community. And on such a special Uplevel weekend, we're going to be going into the divine creation of that together. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely, and we hope you enjoyed our video sharing, because we certainly enjoyed putting it together. And
right, this is that portal.
Yeah, if you
right?
take a look at this ancient wall that's
this
our backdrop.
Fabulous, yeah.
It's
this is when the condors came. Yeah.
All beings leave a legacy. Mm-hmm. The question is, can we hear them?
Yeah.
And so we invite you to tune in, to maybe watch that again, to get yourself here and discover how rich your beingness can be.
Well, even better yet, make sure you're part of our social media. Get into our Facebook. I believe it's Official Sri and Kira. Of course, right here at YouTube, Official Sri and Kira. Help others find it. And I believe that Bria Rose will be posting that video on our social media platform. So I think we'll be able to get it out to there as well if you would like to watch it again, because what's the overarching reason that we are sharing this with you, other than I don't think you and I ever left, is that I really, guys, did you see the moat, my moat, that you saw when we were first walking over the bridge, and where Bria and Aparna were when they made that beautiful intro? Didn't they do a great job? And so when you walk to that side, there is a moment of magic that is extraordinary, because the magic that you feel here is already so profound that it really caught me off guard. It forced me to expand even more. And as we were walking up the mountain, my consciousness was so aware of many different worlds, many different energies, even then when you found the fairy experience. I mean, it's a fascinating spiral.
Well, and it's more than a fascinating spiral. It's an actual abode.
And that's where, and taking a breath, because we want to share how that came forward. And wow, right? Yeah.
We've been blessed to have touched many of the abodes of the Ascended Masters, and to have had the gift of that. It's just a blessing to be able to come into the energy that is held out of the ultimate surrender of service to the divine. An Ascended Master is just that, ascended and masterful. and that the frequency they radiate and the love and the presence that comes forward is very healing, uplifting, inspiring, and humbling. And when we were at Attutement, we had the pleasure of being introduced and stepping into those abodes. We showed this picture a few shows back. Let me see if I can get it out of the reflection.
You want me to try, honey?
There it is.
Oh, you got it. There you go.
There it is.
Yeah.
So what you're seeing...
Do you see? Look, you see it?
Let me try to get it a little closer.
You see? Look, Sri got this picture.
You see the temple-shaped building which we erected on the lake.
That was our meditation temple.
I was on the other side of this little lagoon, and the water is got lots of raindrops on it. That's why it's not shiny, and that's what allowed us to capture the picture of the ascended being, quite literally walking on the water.
Yeah.
Is the mist offered a profound reflection of the radiance of this being.
And this is an unretouched photograph, because that tells you how long ago we took this picture. Because it's a photograph. And this was really an honor when the Ascended Masters first came in. They came in with the beautiful gift of Ascended Numerology. It was during that time that Ascended Numerology that I was in constant contact with the Magi, that Sri and I were having our own private sessions with other beings of really coding ascended numerology to come back to the planet, and that all happened at the same time. And lately, with the rise of the Magi and the ascended numerology, we are not surprised at all that the most extraordinary humbling gift that came through when Shri and I did scale this mountain and spend time up here was the sharing that that abode that was there at Lake Atitlan is now anchored as a hologram. Remember, they never leave. That's why there's always abodes in so many places, because those holograms are always there for when they might need to really be in a more intimate experience. And this is a moment of intimate alchemical transmission. And so we are honored and blessed that that abode is now here, literally, and that it is huge. It's pretty much over the entire province here, that incorporates Ingapurka, Chobchi, and at the top of that pyramid, TOSA Blue Mountain. It is a pyramid. And I look at, for 3 years, we had to go to Ingapurka. And every time we went to Ingapurka would open her doors for us. And it's so important to go there and let us help you open the door of Ingapurka.
There is an ascended layer that the public doesn't often see.
And we have access. We get very rare access. And when we offer you that portal initiation in there, remember that the egg-shaped portion of this temple, before the Inca came and did what all the other dogmas do and built over it, but that egg-shaped temple is the Kanyari. That is the most ancient creation portal. And so that's the first point. And then Chobchi is the masculine point of protection. It's this point, and that's why all the Kanyari went there. It was literally there. Custer's last stand was Chobchi. And it was because of the sacredness of that area, the sacredness of this point, and its alignment not only with Ingapurka, but also with TOSA Blue Mountain. And now there is this site here at TOSA Blue Mountain. And as we have the feminine and the masculine creation, this is the unified. This is that which transcends all that is created. It's an ascension monument. And that's why these three work together. And that's why I'm still having a hard time talking about it. But what I want you to hear in this moment is that when moments like this are gifted on behalf of the world, since July 1, all Shri and I have wanted to do is get this to you. Because you are in a moment where this is happening for you. It's really happening. Yeah. I want you to really hear that. We opened up the show today. Can you allow that to really happen for you? Look what's happening for Shri and I, only because we're saying yes, and because of you. Because of you, we are. And so when we walked up here, when we activated, and I'm saying up here pointing to our background because I don't think I've left. And I know Shri and I have not left in our consciousness. When you make this connection and these upper chakras ignite with this body of form right now,
all up here,
I have been dealing with massive physical issues. And what I have noticed is that I have been called even more, even when you think you're going to get that moment to rest, even when you think, oh, it might get a little less intense. No, what happens is that your body goes, wait a minute. I'm not enjoying this right now because you've been out of me so much. And so when the body starts calling you back in, that veil that's unlifted right now is saying, okay, this week is about how much do you really want it? Right? And I had to look within again and say, okay, what am I really committed to? And that gets me through anything. It says, no matter how tired I am, I'm still on the treadmill every day. No matter how ill my body may feel, I'm going to be right here with you right now, because that's the illusion. That's not the real experience. That's what this up-level moment is about. Commanding more mastery. No matter where you are, commanding even more. And we've just been given a massive up level right here at TOSA Blue Mountain. And in this portal energy, in this full moon eclipse, we are sharing this with you as well, because we know it's part of the reason that we're supposed to be living here, so that this is spread as far and wide as possible from a balanced center.
it's part of our world service.
Exactly.
And,
exactly.
This reminds me of we began earlier on in this presentation, this Sunday service, talking about the victim triangle and the evolution into the ascended triangle, the ascended healer, the healer, mentor, teacher. Why? Because we took birth to serve. We, those of us that are awakening to the higher aspect of your essence, of who you really are, what some people call the higher self, which is the self. Everything else was a refraction, was a distortion.
Right.
There is only one self. And sometimes when we're earlier in our journey, we figure, oh, that's the higher self. I wish it would talk to me more. No, that's you. And you best start listening more because that's who you are. And so this ascended evolutionary process happens because we surrender the need for self-service and instead become selflessly serving. And that
Breathe
transition.
That in. Yeah.
And
I'm affirming that.
And nothing is lost. Everything is gained. All your experiences, your wisdom, your money, your everything, it's all there to support your joy.
Right.
It's all there. Nothing's ever lost.
No.
However, the entire world will change. And this leads me a little bit to, we're going to take some calls, and I wanted to mention is Kira did a little tee-up, so to speak, on Ascension symptoms and what she's going through. We will start putting together a formal presentation on that, but
we will get
not
it
quite
out.
yet.
But remember, we said we always hold our video, and this is the first year we're actually doing a mid-year update on Ascension symptoms, and that's because of that June explosion. But we always hold our video until we're done, because we want to make sure that when we offer it to you, that we're not just talking about it esoterically, that we actually know what we're talking about.
What you've experienced.
We only share what we have personally gone through.
But if any of you who are sitting over at the call board listening to the show, if you want to press *5 on your telephone device.
I already see one hand up. Yeah.
That'll let me know that you would like to talk about the physical body in relation to the energies that are at hand. And the one thing I want to say is that everybody is going through physical changes, like it or not.
That's true.
But I want to rephrase that.
The Uplevel is here for all. That's true.
Everybody's going through physical changes, and you get to choose whether you like it or not. But it's still there.
Exactly. So here's the key, right? Is not this an amazingly momentous time? Is not this like the most outrageous moment ever? Because we are awake. To be awake right now means that the universe has tapped you on the shoulder and said, what is the world you want to create? You are being given, we are collectively being given all of the paintbrushes, a beautiful canvas, and an opportunity to create. The key is it will take steadfast commitment, focused awareness, and complete trust. There is a difference between commanding the law of instantaneous manifestation through the alchemical process of the yoga of self-ascension and sitting around wishing, hoping, praying. Because wishing, hoping, and praying is victim energy. It's saying, rescue me, rescue me, rescue me. Every dogmatic tradition on the planet needs a victim, needs a rescuer, and needs an abuser. Check it out. Every single one. And so that is why to transcend the victim triangle is the first step in true transcendence and the journey of the yoga of self-ascension. When we can step into ourselves as the witness. Shri, is that still up here? I would love to show it one more time. Yes, it is. Since 2018, we have been inviting all to begin the experience of lifting from the third dimensional witness of what you do, like going, oh, did I just do that? That kind of level, to that fifth dimensional witnesser. That's that compassion that you wrap around yourself, where you can see without judgment, without victim-y energy, that which is, and love it unconditionally. And then from there, the literal lift, you see in the graphic, the literal lift up into the witnessing of that. That's how much freedom we gain when we let go of judgment, until we release again to become the witness in the ninth dimension. And in 2018, when we first revealed this, we didn't have it as easy as we do now to access all these dimensions. I mean, that's how loved we are. We're being given
and
everything
that's also,
we need.
if you remember the graphic we showed you earlier, if you go with the current is upliftment.
Let's show that. The one that had the spirals, right? Go ahead, Sri. I'll put it up. You can tell me if I'm right. Keep talking. I don't want to interrupt you because it's perfect.
So the grand cycles of the cosmos are ones that either are supporting the expansion into density or are supporting the reunion into the oneness. And that the reunion is indeed a spiral that takes us from the densest third dimensional energy into the more refined realms of the fifth, seventh, ninth, etc. However, the third dimension, as we shared with you earlier, is a creation that seeks to preserve itself. And the way it preserves itself is through the attention and energy of the participating players. So as long as the planetary thought body has got you, as long as fear has got you, as long as victim energy has got your attention, you are feeding the manifestation of the third dimensional experience.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
And that's
you
totally
came here
cool.
to do it. The question
Right.
is, when are you complete with it?
Or not. Because no matter what, we are in that ever-refining spiral, right? It doesn't, wherever you are, you can't not be. And that's really the blessing. And most commonly, one who is very trapped in density is unable to hear that. However, I always bow before Krishnamurti, until someone awakens, they just are not responsible, right? They can only be awake to their level of consciousness, as my husband has shared so many beautiful times, right? Your level of consciousness is your veil, Sri Ram Ka, right? It's just a really profound remembrance. And so in this month, where all of our veils are being lifted even more, anytime a veil lifts, the ego must relax more.
Or fight.
Exactly. And so the method that it will be using, and it's going to be particularly big this week. So the method it will be using this week is going after anger, anything that used to trigger you. Or the method of this week will be about love, co-creation. And this is like you've just hit the ball, and now you're seeing how many yards it's going to go before it touches down on the earth again on the 11th. And so I don't know about you guys, but I am taking the high one on this one. Let's go. Let's be the shining stars. And that's the gift, is that Mercury, and I want to close with this before we go to the phone lines because this is important to know for our journey. Mercury has been in this very feminine experience of herself. It's been very fascinating. Every time you connect with Mercury, very, very feminine overlay, very, very feminine. And the way that this retrograde has been, and it has certainly been extraordinary for us, and that 19, 20, 21 experience, wow, right, is that her back is toward our planet right now. Yet her heart is wide open. And it's that center heart. It's that heart that says, I have removed the old wounds that say you cannot get close to me. You will never hurt me again. You cannot come in. I will, not only have I removed that, I trust you so much, I'm going to turn my back, leaving that wide open without even an ounce of doubt that one of you may try to hurt me. Think about that. Think about that energy. And so to meet that energy is to be able to soar up through that portal that Mercury has opened to help us all anchor in the fifth dimension. Remember, June was about what? It was about really anchoring, at least in the openness to staying in the fifth dimension. About, maybe this crap is real, right? And I know what that feels like. I get it. But it is an opportunity. Real is what you define it to be. However, this is very real for those of us that are living in this energy.
Yeah.
Right? Is that a good way to say it?
Yeah.
Without limitation? Okay.
Yeah. Well, let's take a breath.
Let's do that.
Because a lot's going on.
Yeah, it really is.
And what you look at determines what you miss.
I love that. It's so true.
So it's just nothing to judge about, just to have a giggle. Okay, Now we're going to bring our attention to some beautiful callers because they're going to assist us to look deeper.
Yes, we are.
And
all right, Sri. Well, I'm going to go over here to the Oneness Talk Radio call board, and we've got several hands raised. We're going to go to Monica. She's had hers up the longest. Namaste, Monica. Welcome.
Namaste, beloved Sri and Kira.
Hi, dear. Welcome.
Thank you for taking my call. I love everything you're sharing. Thank you for your courage and your tenacity and your big hearts, both of you.
Thank you.
I would be very honored if you could offer me a reading regarding healing my TMJ and the teeth grinding. This issue has been there for some time. Thank you.
Well, thank you for asking, and you've certainly asked the right person and at the right moment. And so I'm going to go ahead and mute you again because we have a little background noise, but stay with us.
Okay. All right. So let's talk in general terms, then we'll talk a little more personal. The TMJ is right here, as we all know. It's a grinding or
clenching.
It's called bruxism also. And what happens is the muscles of the jaw are overworked, and they get into a pattern of grinding and being the focal point for the release of an energy. And the energy has to do with the unacceptance of what you are ingesting, what you're choosing to think is important. So let me unpack that a little further. TMJ has two prongs. One is it becomes an energy release of that which you wish to break down. I want to make my life more palatable. I want to be able to eat my food, so I have to smash it and make it smaller, right? So I can digest it. Now look at that on the emotional side of things. If I'm chomping at something, I'm wishing to manage it. And this is where you can decide how deep this wants to go with your personal...
I do have a sharing when you're done.
Yeah. So there is a piece here, and it's about your fifth chakra. The fifth chakra is the one that says, I'm willing to accept what's really true rather than what I wish were true or what I was told was true. I'm willing to accept what is really true, and I will digest that rather than to try to manage my reality to make it conform to another belief system. So, dear one, please understand that these are the lessons through which we learn how to surrender to our higher wisdom and step out of a pattern that is based upon an emotional response reaction kind of thing. So that's one piece. Now there's one other piece, and then I'll let you share, is that remember there's a tension. So once your body finds an avenue for the release of tension, other tension can go there.
Yeah.
So it's not just what I said, which is how this came to be, but now it's a preferred channel because it's open. So I can have tension from the day. I can have a little anger about the day. I can have my disappointments, my frustrations, my responses to the day, and they're looking for a place to vent. Well, hey, how convenient. I can do this at night. I can do this. I don't even have to pay attention.
Yeah. Right.
And the energy gets out of the body. So have mercy on yourself. It's a process of, number one, coming into closer union with what's going on, and number two, unhooking a pattern that is being used more than it needs to.
So taking a breath on that, my angel, we'll unmute you in 1 second, but I do want to share with you that as Shri was speaking, my ears started itching, and I kept hearing the same thing over and over again, so I'm just going to share it. I'm going to close my eyes and let it come through exactly as it's been sitting here. And I want you to hear that this is coming from Archangel Gabrielle, who is saying, yes, feel the harmonic of the one next to me, the one that has been sharing, and that your wisdom is being wasted. You offer your words to many who are not ready to hear, and you do not listen to those who are sharing the words you are waiting for. In this moment of divine connection, your voice is tired and your mouth is tired. It is tired because your words of wisdom are great and the depth of your knowledge boundless. It is time for you to arise. It is time for you to say yes to you, to love thyself evermore, to recognize the value of your divine nature. It is time for you to say yes without giving away all that you are, so that the thee that you are may find a smaller piece to be happy with. Ask yourself now, who am I? Illuminate more. Breathe more. And as you do, you will discover more. And so it is.
Take a breath, dear one.
Whoa, I'm dizzy.
Yeah, much love.
All right. Did we want to let Monica?
Monica, I'll unmute you for a second if you want to have a closing word.
I love you both so much with all my heart. You are both so precious to me. I love you. I love you. I love you.
May you
Thank
feel
you.
that love reflected back to you, dear. Much love indeed.
Yeah, let's all take in a deep breath, because I'm looking. I can't see anything anyway, but I'm feeling into all of us and knowing each one of today's callers. We are building. Do y'all feel it? I'm encouraging you to just start relaxing into this building, because we are in this building energy, moving into this up-level attunement that we are going to be doing live. And, travel alert, we are going to travel from today to the 11th. And FYI, when you do that on the 10th, send a happy birthday to my husband, because his birthday is also
You're going to
this
fly
week.
over my birthday.
So when you're flying by on July 10, drop a, hey, Shri, we're so glad you're still here, right? A year ago, they told me this day would not happen, and I think it's fascinating of the energy of this week that you are in as well. So incredible
Got
moment.
more to do.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Shri, where are we going next?
All right. Hey, we've got a caller from, looks like California. Let me unmute.
All right,
that line.
has her hand up. All right, namaste. Welcome.
Hi. Oh my gosh, this is my first time calling in, and I'm so glad.
Well, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Bless you both. My number's from California, but right now I'm actually in Texas.
Okay.
And I wouldn't love... Hello?
Hello, we're here.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I would love to have a mini soul reading.
Okay, we are happy to help. And so I want you to bring a hand to your second chakra, kind of really actually between the second and the third. So higher second, lower third area, put a hand there. And the other hand, I want you to bring right now to your heart, if it's possible to do. If it's not, then feel that other energy there. And as you breathe, the first thing that's all around you, and I'm just finding it very powerful on this day, is that it's like your breath is stopping, and it comes in, it stops, and then it sits. Then it goes out again. Then it comes in, it stops, and then it sits. And what they're saying is your flow is like that. It comes in, it stops, then it sits. Then it has to keep coming in again and again and again. And that you are in a moment right now where they're saying that drink from the well of that, which is before you now. That very much like Shri and I were talking about that moat, that water flow here at TOSA Blue Mountain. They're saying that you have before you right now this well of opportunity and this wellspring of knowledge. And that within your heart, in the still moment, is the truth you already know. And that this moment right now is for you to activate that at an even more expanded level. And I'm feeling your ascended heart moving together right now. And I want you to take in a deep breath and let it out. There you are. And to know that you are already in this process of divine manifestation and presence. Thank you so much, my love. Namaste.
Much love to you.
Ooh, and we did mute your call because there was a lot of background noise again, so we apologize. All right, Shri, we're going to go to, looks like Ketchum, Idaho has a hand up for Shri. Hey, Ketchum, Idaho, namaste and welcome.
Whoa. Yeah, this is Dia. I'm in Boise, Idaho.
Woohoo! Hey. Well, this is you, and welcome. What a gift to talk to you today.
Oh. Huh. Wow. Oh, hello, my love. this is so strange, but this technology stuff. But I guess I'm showing up as Ketchum, Idaho. Doesn't matter.
No.
I'm so connected with you. I feel, we're just one. It's so beautiful. Wow. Since we are in abundance, hi, darling. Gosh, I held in your bosom. I just love it. Abundance. And so today I'm requesting a mini soul reading and a mini medical, intuitive, non-medical fight into me. I have such growth. I have found a book, which I knew the picture was in my mind. It's a book I've had for 30 years, and it's called The Voices of the First Day, and it talks about the enlightened Aborigine and how they have a hole through the back of their neck into the tongue, and the sphenoid bone and the bones of the nasal bone are so involved with the crystalline, which is affected by everything, the radiation from above and the radiation from Mother Earth. Okay, so you know that I've had this 30-year head journey.
Right.
With the right-sided head pain. I have now found I have a actual hole up through the bones that the teeth have made, the infections. So the exciting part is I'm getting so much information. I get to be 12 to 18 hours with sessions. And what I want is both of your gifts of insight and intuition to me, to help me make my decision to come to TOSA Blue Mountain for the New Year's, but surrounded by a month before and a month afterwards. And when I'm with you, which is about 3 out of the 7 days, and sometimes 4 out of the 7 days, and I have no question that I am to be there for extended period of time, answering my friend Midgewood. And then when I'm away from it, and I don't think it's just a sly pirate, there is this, what should I do first? So that's where I would love your input today on this very, very special day. What do you see, feel, notice?
So take in a breath and thank you, and we're going to share. And Shri, I'll let you begin if you like.
Sure. You know, one of the things to remember is sometimes in our journey we travel and then we regroup and we retravel. You know, it's the spiral path, and just when we thought we were all complete with something, we spiral around and we pick up another little nugget, another little bit of experience and energy. Definitely your sixth chakra is the chakra of opportunity to continue to springboard your growth. And the sixth chakra does affect those organs of hearing. It certainly affects organs of sight and, that part of your brain as well at the physical level. However, at the spiritual level, and you're already modeling this so beautifully, the sixth chakra is about seeing the truth. It's about looking beyond the veil and seeing your spiritual family, seeing your spiritual community, seeing the divine flow in action. And as long as you keep saying yes to that, whatever healing is required will be so. And yet sometimes the journey of saying yes to that which is expanding, there is a certain, just call it years of resistance, years of patterning that were in place. Yeah. And the patterns are a little slower to let go than the enthusiasm of your heart is to say yes. So we have to have a little patience, take rest from time to time, but keep saying yes to your expansion. And this is your chakra of opportunity. It is blessing you.
So I want you to breathe that in, Angel, and I want to share that you are also at a moment of yet another choice. And they're saying, they want you and I to show her the background. They're saying it's no accident that we have this background today with this portal opening, with this opportunity that you are connecting with us on this moment of this full moon that is then going to offer us the eclipse. And what they're saying is that you keep making even stronger affirmations of who you are. That the TOSA Blue Mountain, that's already done. That's already done. It's what your life already sees happening because of that decision. That is where the breath gets stuck, and I feel it right here. Like, woo, yeah, like high lung. And so the reason you got through today, and the reason you are most likely we might get one more caller in, but the reason you are here is because your body is sending you affirmation of who you are. This is not a disease that created a hole in your bone. This is an opening that you have been gifted with through that of this world needed to happen for you to discover. Now, what you do with it, this next step is yours right now, and it's right in front of you, and the divine directors are all around you, and all I can say is, all I'd see you doing is dancing. You're adorable. You're just too beautiful. And you're dancing and dancing and dancing. And they're saying, dance, my love, dance. It is a new time. And so it is.
Much love, dear.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, you accidentally got muted. Thank you, honey. We love you so
much. We look forward to seeing you in person.
Well, Shri, I think we can sneak in one more caller. So we're going to go to, it looks like another place in Idaho. All right. Hey there. Maybe Nampa, Idaho, it looks like. You have your hand up. Namaste.
Hi. This is Maria. And thank you for your work. I'm really learning a lot. I'm really enjoying it. My question is along the lines of ascension symptoms and me healing the past. Can you give me insight? I feel like I've been on this healing journey for so long. I'm so tired.
Of course you are.
There's times where I think I really am depressed, but then I think, no, I'm not. It's because I have consciously made that decision to heal so I can be of service. Yes. I just didn't know what I was into because it's not just me. It's my ancestors. It's my family. It's then, the story goes on and on.
Yeah. You're a lineage holder, honey. Welcome home.
Yeah.
That's why you got through today. Welcome home. There are thousands of people listening going, yes, Maria, yes, we are so glad that you say hello and that you're here right now. So in this moment, what I want to invite you to do is take just this one moment and feel joy. In this one breath right now. I am so happy that we are meeting. This is not an accident. And you are meeting us. We are coming together in this huge up-level moment. I mean, I hope you have champagne in the fridge, girl. This is a massive moment.
Yeah.
I mean, this is massive.
I will go.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I want to offer you a couple of inspired moments.
Yeah.
Number one is I want you to get a picture of yourself and pin it up somewhere and smile at it.
All the time.
Because it's almost like if you have the ability, I want you to Photoshop your face into an angel picture. And so you have the halo.
Not that you aren't one already.
But I want you to start seeing yourself that way more often.
Oh, my God, yeah.
And what this means is to become more self-full, not selfish. Yeah. Self-full means I love myself as I am. I love my compassion. I love my willingness to care about the world, and I'm willing to take care of me and my needs so that I don't give from an empty cup. Okay? That's one thing. Okay. The other thing is I want you to get out your journal. I want you to write about the vision you have for the perfect day in the world. Write about it. This what this does is it's going to call forward the positive, what you're wanting to see, not what is falling short, but the vision you have for the children, the earth, yourself, your love, your everything, and start writing about the vision a little bit so that that's front and center. And between loving yourself more tangibly, seeing the positive that you're meant to help facilitate, you're going to feel better.
And I want to just close with one thing, sweetheart, and thank you for bringing us into the ceremony, because I can't think of anything better than to have a queen walk us in.
Yes.
Angel, remember the queen you are. How would a benevolent queen act? How would a benevolent queen respond? Feel your crown chakra right now as I am speaking with you. Both of our crown chakras are igniting, as is all crown chakras of those who are connecting with the energy of sincerity, love, and presence. You are a powerful healer. And the greatest gift the world could receive right now is you saying yes to you. I am honored to meet you, and thank you for calling us today, honey. We love you dearly. Namaste.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
Namaste.
you.
Namaste. We love you, honey. And wow, it is time.
Yeah.
Wow. So we want to invite you to just really, and I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna do this a little bit because I really want to have the rocks and the portal energy, and hopefully you saw the movie of everything. But if not, this is enough to really, if you want to have your eyes open. So we are going to relax into this up-level moment and invite you to just get comfy.
So as we begin to do this together, it's important that we honor where we are, and that means this body that you're in, this body that is your companion, and give it a little wiggle, give it a little stretch, take a couple of big breaths. Okay, there we go, a little movement of energy into the body, and make sure that you're safe, meaning if you're driving, if you're listening to us, pull over the car. Don't go on the journey if it's not safe to do so. You can come back to the replay at YouTube. But here's the thing. I invite you now, if it's safe to do so, to close your eyes and to notice your breath. Just notice your breath. No judgment, simply awareness. And as you relax, we send a little signal to our bodies. I am safe. We send a little signal to our emotional body. It is safe to go on this journey. I am safe. I am loved. There is an infinite supply of love and light in this universe, and it shines for me as well. And with that reassurance, let's take a couple of more breaths into our heart, breathing in deeply through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And just think along with me for a moment. I am here. I am ready. I am open. Guide me. And we'll take a breath and we'll do that one more time in preparation. Each breath I take, I relax further. My need to control is softened. I am here. I am ready. I am open. Guide me.
And as we are guiding, as you are lifting, simply have one last moment, hearing the mantra of self-ascension as you lift ever more and offer appreciation to the body of form that is so beautifully holding this moment of illumination, for the reunification is just but a breath away. I am here lifting. I am ready lifting. I am open lifting. Guide me lifting. Allow your breath to relax. Simply be with thee. And as you relax into this lifting, as you relax into simply being, you begin to notice what almost feels like a sound or a harmonic frequency. It's way off, but it's in your awareness. And you become aware that that sound is beginning to look almost like a pin of light coming in from what seemed lightless. And this pin of light is growing and growing and growing until you are aware now that you are literally inside the moon of this planet of forms experience. Inside the moon right now, gazing through the moon and noticing, what are you seeing? What are you seeing? What are you seeing? And noticing what you are seeing, you begin to notice if there is a sense around that seeing that is love or fear, upliftment or contraction, accepting or judging. Notice. And as you notice, begin to call forward the energy, for you are the commander of this energy. Call forward now into this experience as you are in the center of this moon experience, gazing through this experience. Begin to sense, feel, know, experience a beautiful golden spiral of light igniting around you. Relax into this golden spiral of light. Relax into this golden spiral of light. Relax into this golden spiral of light. And notice how effortlessly you are finding the gift of love, circulating through everything as the empowerment of your divine nature. Letting go, noticing, you are now in a moment outside of time. And it is now Saturday, July 11, 2020. As we ignite for the first time in thousands of years, the living temple of the crystalline light, what are you noticing? What is coming in? And as you notice, go deeper. And so it is.
Thank you for joining us at Shri and Kira Live. To have your questions answered, send us an email to guest@shriandkiraradio.com and check out more information at shriandkira.com. See you next week. Namaste.